Hello and welcome to Coffee with Carey. Thank you for being here today. If you're new here, my name's Carey. This is my channel I created as a community for women over 50, and we talk about all types of things as they apply to being in your 50s. Fashion, makeup, beauty, food, because we got to eat, and we don't know what to eat anymore because there's so much conflicting information, but we're not talking about food today. Today is just random stuff about being in your 50s, stuff that I think about. Sometimes it comes up with clients. I'm a matchmaker and a dating coach, but often it's things I talk about with my other friends in real life that I figured I should probably talk about it with you too, because everything is worth sharing, I think, if it could possibly help anybody look at something or learn something. So today I wanted to pass along what my mother has said to me for a long time, and it's a quote that she picked up somewhere. And I share it all the time. I remind my children and my clients of this, and I want to share it with you. Want to stick around and see what it is? I hope so. That's what we're going to do today. So the phrase is, you wouldn't worry so much about what people think of you if you realized how seldom they do. Which obviously means that we're all busy wondering if we're good enough or what people think about us, when in fact, they're probably thinking about themselves and not paying any attention to the things that we may be self-conscious about or concerned that people are thinking. And I wanted to touch on a couple points, some things that I thought of that were applicable to this phrase that I learned so long ago and how they kind of work in today's times and being 50. And I think number one would be that we are just so hard on ourselves. Just as we age and things change, I mean, even as young women, self-confidence is a hard thing to get a handle on for some of us. And it should be so much easier to just love ourselves and accept ourselves as we are. But sometimes that takes work. And I've made a lot of videos that touch upon that because I really think it is one of the major keys, that self-acceptance and self-love, to being happy and being confident out there in the world and connecting with others, which you may know I think is the key to a great life, connecting with people that you care about, that you love, and bringing joy to others. So the fact that we're so our harshest critics and we're so tough on ourselves is really worth investigating and worth trying to change about ourselves if we, you, if we are someone who is hard on ourselves. We aren't that hard on people we don't know, strangers or the people we care about. Why would we treat ourselves that way? So let's make a concerted effort to not be so judgmental about ourselves. Number two is that we are living in very interesting times. Life is going by quickly. People are busy. And when they're not busy, they're not paying attention. Most people are walking around not looking at one another. I've kidded around that I could walk into TJ Maxx looking for a pair of size 7.5 brown boots with a medium heel, and I could walk past everybody from my junior high teacher, my best friend sophomore year, my boyfriend from college, my next door neighbor from when I was in my 20s, probably one of my kids and both of my parents, and I would notice nobody because I was always walking around focused on the task at hand and not taking in anything. And I've made a concerted effort to change that because I like to be able to connect with people and be living in the moment. I've noticed when I'm looking around now that other people are not paying any attention at all. They're all in their own little world. And so if I'm worried that somebody's going to notice I wore two different shoes, actually it's happened with socks. I think it actually did happen with shoes. I wore a brown and a black pair of like Ugg boots once, one of each. And if I'm worried, let's just for an example, I mean, I go out with no makeup on all the time because I feel that who cares? I mean, I'm not trying to impress anybody at CVS or the grocery store. But if I went out worried that somebody was going to notice that I was barefaced and looking deathly ill, or that I was, because I'm pretty pale this time of year, or if I was concerned that people were going to notice that I walked out of the house and forgot to actually put shoes on, I'm wearing my slippers. Yes, that's happened. People really aren't. So why am I worried what people are going to think about me? They're not even looking at me. They're busy looking for the coffee that's on sale, their huge carton of eggs, and trying to pick out a good rotisserie chicken. They're not paying any attention to me. And if they aren't focused on their shopping, they're texting somebody to find out what they're supposed to be purchasing, comparing prices. I don't know what they're doing, but everybody's got their nose on their phone. And number 3 ties right in with that phone. We assume that everybody out there is so confident and living their best life and walking around looking like they do on Facebook or in their Instagram photos. And we are assuming that people's highlight reel is what their life looks like. So we are looking at that, walking around with 2 different colored boots and a bare naked pale face that looks green in the dead of winter here. And if I'm worried that these people are looking at me because that's the life they're living, I have been misled, because that's not true. What people are showing on the internet is not the days that they're not wearing makeup and their nose is red and they've grabbed the wrong color boots. People are just people out there, and nobody gives a crap what you're wearing on your face, on your body, most of the time. I'm not saying if you're going to a party, you should not be paying attention to what color shoes you're putting on for this company party you're attending. But I am saying that at that party, walk out that door feeling confident and not comparing yourself to what you saw on somebody's Facebook picture or Instagram photo of the holiday party they attended last week. Because that one probably had 30 pictures taken, and she picked the best one and she touched it up and put a filter over it and didn't show you where her tights had a hole in them. Nobody's showing you that stuff. So stop comparing. What we're seeing in the media and on social media is not what's really going on. Don't be comparing yourself to any of that unless you want to be miserable. And then my final note here. Humans are probably hardwired in some way to do that comparison. Otherwise, why would we do that when it's typically not something that makes us feel great about ourselves or about anything? But I think one of the really amazing things about being in our 50s is that it really is a time to let go of that. The cool thing about being in your 50s is not only that we can learn to not compare ourselves to one another, but there is just no point comparing ourselves to where we used to be or to people who are in the age bracket where we have come from and past. You know, it's not the same category to be a woman in your 50s and be somebody in your 30s. You're never going back there. You're never going to look like you did when you were 30, let alone like somebody else when they're 30 or 25 or 40. We are in a whole new place where it's a perfect opportunity to accept ourselves with all of our experiences and all of the things that have changed within our face and in our body, and learn to be here in this moment, appreciating the hopefully good health that we have, the things that are positive in our life, the things that bring us joy, the things we get to do every day when we are lucky enough to rise again and face a new day. To compare ourselves, to bring ourselves down by doing any type of comparison at all is beneath us as women in our 50s. We are above that. I truly believe that. And I hope that you will at least think about that. That's all I really wanted to say today. So I appreciate you stopping by. I truly do. I know there are lots of other things you could be doing. So if you liked this video or you found something helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you would subscribe, that would be awesome, because then we could hang out again sometime. And until that next time, thank you and have a good one.